Necromunda First Shot.
Welcome to First Shot 19. Tonight we're looking at this giant mega book that they just released for Necromunda. It's called the Necromunda Core Rulebook 2023, and it's a great big fat book. So on the line tonight we have Leedham, as always. How are you?
Greetings. I'm excellent, thank you.
Leedham's just been out in the sump having a
sump venture.
A sump venture. And Sean, how are you, Sean?
I'm well. Hello.
We've been making notes and things, rereading this book. This episode's not going to be like a full errata look. We're not going to read through every single thing and see what's different and what's new and anything that's changed the same or changed. I would say though, probably like, what do you reckon in terms of a percentage? What percentage of shit has changed, Sean? What would be your guesstimate?
Oh,
and then Leedham, as a percentage.
I guess maybe 15%.
15. I was thinking around 10 to 12%. Maybe 12.5.
Yeah, maybe 15's extreme. Maybe. It's still basically the same thing. Just sort of like, organized a bit differently, and there's a few tweaks here and there and changes, and I think it's going to take a while to get across them all.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's always those little changes, especially. It'd be good if there was like on, how they have the digital copy. If you could turn on markup from the last rules,
yeah,
that'd be fucking sick. Maybe someone can go through and do that with like a little tiny pink pen and just touch up all those pages. But so yeah, that's a good place to start. Like in terms of organization, like I bought the digital copy. Do you guys have the digital copy, or did you guys buy the Mega-Tome, the 300-page Mega-Tome? Which copy do you guys have?
I got the.
I want to get both, and I reckon that you know how when you get vinyl records and they sometimes have download codes.
Yeah.
For the digital version as well. I think that this book is the strongest argument for a combined DG hard load copy.
That would be pretty good. Yeah, if you bought the hard copy.
I kind of agree.
Copy too.
I think I only got the digital one, but I have been getting the physical ones, and I might just get it as well.
Yeah. If I knew that I could pay for the physical book, and I'd also get a free digital copy for my iPhone and my iPad, which I use at different times. I don't always have access to the 300-page Mega-Tome. Like sometimes, like if I'm on the heads, as they call it, I've only got my phone with me. If I need to check
the drops.
Yeah, if I'm at the drops, like I might be like, oh, what was the reach range in a greatsword again? Fuck, I need to check. Then I had it on my phone, got on my iPad. I can bring it up on my computer, presumably. I don't know. I've never actually tried to do them on the PC. I just get them on my iPad and my phone. But if I could have a hard copy too, because that's like Byron's was selling like 8 of the books and house books and things, and the all ones I didn't have, and I got them for like a nice cheap price. So now I've got it. Like,
really?
Yeah, now I've got it. Yeah, oh yeah, Sean, I've got a secret. Next time you're around, you can have a look at my secret trove of books. Now I've got a taste for the hardcovers. I already bought the digital copy, but I do want a hard copy. Maybe I'll have to get one from.
Sometimes you got to take care of your sleep hygiene too. Like if you've got your mobile phone with you at night, it can be hard to go to sleep when you've got to have a sleep regimen. So in a way, it's a health issue. If you have to have your phone with you to read your digital copy in bed, you should sort of divest yourself of your phone, but have a physical copy by the bed. So if you wake up in the middle of the night and think like, what's the rarity rating of a needle rifle, at 3 a.m, you don't have to touch your phone, because then you're looking at Twitter and everything else.
If you
reach
out across your bedside table, across the stubber, try and find a lamp, turn that on, and then look for my 340-page Mega-Tome. Yeah,
you probably do want some sort of safety rig though, because if you're reading that in bed and fall asleep, you'll kill yourself if it falls on you.
Yeah, true. Like, if you're holding it up above your head, yeah. Sean,
everyone's had a mistake with their digi weapons at night, so
I think Quartermaster's going to have to fund some sort of counter research to this screens before bedtime.
Recommend against late night list hammer.
There's nothing. Yeah, they can't be any kind of. You don't want anyone interfering with that late night sleep hammer. So Sleep
That's a
Hammer.
good point.
That's that late night list hammer. Yeah. That listy sleep hammer.
Hashtag sleep hammer, guys.
Sometimes I do my best like list hammer right before I fall asleep, and then I wake up and I go, oh, what was that list I was thinking about? And I'm like, what the hell?
Well, yeah, sometimes something comes to you in a dream, in a vision, and you need to get up and put it into Quartermaster straight away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know, Leedham. This sounds like whatever you're talking about, screen time or something. And screen time's the best time, as they say. Anyway, so the fucking huge tome, definitely want to get it at the moment though. Yeah, on my iPad, this digital tome, pretty good. Like it's got lots of like hyperlink, like helpful little linky boys and stuff, so you can jump around the document pretty easily. Like I know that if I bring my iPad, as long as it's fully charged to Necromunda night, I've got all the books that I purchased on here. Boom. I don't have to carry like a fucking like one of those green shopping bags entirely filled with books.
The library bag.
Yeah. Talking about me.
Yeah. Well, so now the first, what is it, like 50 pages or something, is just like fluff as well of this book.
Yeah.
Yeah, page 5 through to 54. So there's there's a nice big like chunk of fluff like it used to be in the old Rulebook. Is like it comes over in this book, but
no, yeah.
I mean
that's probably copy and pasted, right?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, but you're not losing it. You know.
No.
You've got all of that there, and that's only the first 50 pages of like, was it 300? The index starts at 334, so 340 page, massive fucking Mega-Tome, and like what are we talking, like almost 300 pages of rules, like 200.
But it's very dense background. It's not like Necromunda is a land of contrasts. It's you know, this person and these people do this thing, and you know, in the 1500s.
There's a full timeline.
The loom was invented.
Yeah, it explains like how Necromunda, like what happened, like how it started during the heresy. Like by the time of the heresy, it was already just like so big. It took over 2,000 years for the Imperium to gain control of it. So like the Imperium came and were like, holy shit, what have you guys done here? And then they're like, well, you're in charge. You need to fucking just like take control. And this dude was like, okay, just started a dynasty of fucking like warrior people who tried to unite the planet, because it was just so fucking huge. Which is why like that's why you need like hundreds of thousands of legionnaires to like lock down a planet like that. Like think about that. The legions didn't even. I think they just sort of installed a guy and were like, okay, your mandate is your family and your fucking ancestors from now, all of your like spawn are going to be just like entirely involved for the next 2,000 years, just like seizing control of this fucking massive fucking planet that's just too big to fail. So yeah, anyway, the fluff for that is fucking amazing. The new fluff's really good. If you remember like the old, like you used to get like one paragraph. I think there would like for the houses, the 6 houses, there was a 2-page spread with like and 3 paragraphs per page, 1 paragraph for each of the 6 houses, and it's just like, okay, cool, that's all you're gonna get. Like you had to sort of piece it together from the novels and just like random pictures and insane shit like that. They're really like the new fluff's like really amazing, fully like like super cyberpunk, which is exactly what I think the setting needed. So you can literally imagine like any, like you can like, and they needed it to go high tech so that you can like realize basically anything that's available to mankind, like from the spire top all the way down to like just dudes literally strangling each other with fucking wires out in the ashes, which are made of from burning humans and stuff. You know, like it's fucking it's really amazing, and then taking that fluff, creating these new gangs, and then putting it all together into this huge like Mega-Tome. What an undertaking! I'm super impressed.
There's some cool new art in there too. Like there's a lot of reused art, but there's probably I reckon it's about 50-50 of new art to old art in there.
Yeah, I did notice a few things. Did you see the one where it's like some what are those corpse grinder cult guy, and he's like holding a Goliath down, yeah, and just like wailing, yeah, holy shit,
yeah,
just John Jones style, just putting the beat on like a fucking fucking Batman. That's crazy.
There is also like a portrait of Lord Helmore himself, which I don't think we've seen before.
Oh yeah, with the crazy fucking baby. Yeah, so that's what page is that? 11. Yeah, the crazy like baby that I looked for more fluff to see if there's any more fluff on the caryatids, but yeah, there doesn't seem to be. It's just like
they're mysterious.
Yeah, still they remain a mystery.
Shrouded in mystery.
Yeah. So yeah, tons of fluff at the start. Let's start just like having a browse through the book. So if we jump over all the fluff, what have we got? We've got the general principles. So that's the actual rules essentially. So the actual rules are about 20 pages. On page 70, we get the lists and things. Fighter characteristics, just going through like all the stat shit, and the new gang creation. So but by the time probably, well, is there anything in the rules that's like major, Sean, that we should like within the sort of the rule set, like any major changes that are going to change?
Like in the rules themselves, there's a few.
Yeah, but anything like huge, like I definitely like one of them. I think is charging someone out of line of sight. Your neg one to hit now.
Yeah, that's big.
I think that's pretty. Yeah, that's big and really good too, because like, just there's so many fucking weapon skill 2+ close combat guys that just charge out of nowhere and just fucking fuck you up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think the biggest one is how serious injuries work now. That's probably the biggest change, in that when you get once you're already seriously injured, any further serious injuries that you roll count as flesh wounds. So you basically bleed out.
So if you take 3 damage, you're just done? If you're a toughness 3 guy, you lose like a flesh wound for each of those?
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
Wow,
and it's like when you're rolling for recovery as well, like it used to be you roll a serious injury, you're still down. Well, now that you're still down, but you also get a flesh wound, so you've only got a few turns until you're bled out, essentially.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So it means a plasma cannon, basically, if you roll to wound against a basic guy, they take 3 damage, 3 flesh, like whatever you roll for the injuries, I guess.
Yeah.
But those extra flesh wounds that you roll count as flesh wounds.
Yeah.
Even if you roll them. Wow. Okay. Well,
and so, yeah, as well as that, then they've changed how assisting works and how the Medicaid skill works as well. So now when you're assisting, so if you've got someone assisting you, you don't get those extra flesh wounds. And even if you roll a flesh wound, so you've recovered, you don't take that flesh wound. So you can essentially get back up with full health if you just got one serious injury and then you've got a dude assisting you.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty good. Like it, definitely makes it more deadly, and we've definitely all played games where there's like 5 or 6 guys just like crawling around that just won't get up, and you're just like, oh my god, how long is this guy gonna just lie here?
It also strengthens like group gangs, because if you've got like say cheap gangers who sort of club together, they can support each other it can show how they support each other. Whereas when you've got like elite specialists, that you sort of have to separate them up, but then they're looking after themselves. It's harder to deal with stuff like that.
Yeah.
Makes something like a bolter super crazy too. Like get hit by a bolter and wounded. That's 2 flesh wounds straight up. So even no, it's an additional flesh wound, isn't it? So you might get seriously injured and a flesh wound. So you would be
that's right.
At 1 neg 1 flesh wound. Okay. Well,
but then the Medicaid skill now it's like a roll a d6, and on a 3+ you get to heal a wound or a flesh wound. So we didn't have that before.
Yeah,
so basically getting it back up. So I think that's going to be interesting as well. And they've changed the way webbed works as well, so that you don't get those extra flesh wounds when you're webbed, but otherwise so essentially webbed works like it used to, where everything else has changed.
So do they hate Steve? Have they changed Blaze?
No, they have not changed Blaze. Which probably could have used some tweaking, but they haven't really changed many of those traits, unless there was some sort of core mechanic that changed underneath it.
Yeah, web was pretty fucking unholy.
So I feel like webbed now is still good, but it's not as like it's like a more humane thing than actually just shooting someone now. The other thing is like when you're webbed, you roll a d6 and you're either out cold or in convalescence, which is a new thing as well. So you don't roll a lasting injury. So yeah, it's like it's a more humane way to attack people.
Yeah.
But another one is the blast markers thing. Now it's like -2 to hit just an empty spot on the ground.
Yeah, right. So if you're doing like those bullshit like round the corner trick shots,
yeah,
you can still scatter around there, but yeah, like -2 to hit. That makes sense. That definitely needed something because it was so unfair just being able to. Like I played that campaign where I used that missile launcher, just firing that frag missile off, and the amount of times I could have been way more fucking savage than I was. Like, that's pretty good. That makes sense.
Yeah.
The random scatter gods always smile on us anyway. When they're not like blowing your arm off when you're shooting an Escher Rambo or whatever. So.
Well, if it's an Escher Rambo, you're always gonna die. Yeah. They've got, like that campaign that you had like 100% fucking failure rate on Rambo, Escher Rambo. Should fire off like maybe get one shot off a game, but then just like inevitably. Just like, oh no, I held it for too long.
I had ones that like wrapped around corners.
Yeah. So did you want to talk about the lasting injury table, Tim?
Oh yeah. Let's do that. Yeah. What page are we up to?
I don't know. I need to find it. But that's a big one that's changed a fair amount.
Yeah, did they make like they didn't make 61 to 66 death, unfortunately, which is what I wanted.
No. It is actually, it's probably harder. Well,
yeah.
I mean,
So basically,
injury tables, page 127.
Yeah. So
they have sort of reorganized a lot of stuff, so everything is sort of in the flow of the battle. So the lasting injury table now is in the bit about taking injuries.
Yeah.
So it used to be like just lumped in with the campaigns. So theoretically, you could have had a different lasting injury table per campaign, but now it's sort of like part of the core rules.
Oh yeah, it's way better. Yeah. Okay. So, fucking. So 54 is now multiple injuries. Fighter's not dead, but has suffered many serious wounds. Roll a further D3 times on this table, re-rolling any results of captured, multiple injuries, memorable death, critical injury, or out cold. So you could like kill someone with a greatsword, and then get like force them to roll 2 times, and both times they could possibly roll multiple injuries, and they could get 2 D3. They could get up to 6 extra following
re-roll any
crippling
results
rolls.
of multiple injuries.
Yeah, that's fucking amazing. So that's 54. 55 to 56 captured. Yes, it's on the fucking injury table. Yes, that's what we wanted.
Nice.
Because the capturing rules were just like just the worst. Now 55 to 56, which is great because that's like good chance of capture. And then critical injury, and memorable death are the same, I think.
Yes,
you do gain additional XP for memorable death now.
So with critical injury, when you visit the dock, now when they get to stabilized, you just roll on the lasting injury table again. It doesn't automatically go to one of those 50-something injuries. So you can go to the dock and just like get out cold. which is pretty good.
Some docs are that good. Some doc might just like accidentally give you multiple injuries.
That's true.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty savage. The more death, the better, man. It's just way too easy to pay for those docs.
So the capturing, that doesn't, when you roll that result, it doesn't mean you automatically are captured. You go into like a pool of fighters, and then I think there's some. It's not as complicated as before, but you do have to do some rolling to see if you're capturing. And then so a lot of that equipment that changed that has changed around there too. So like the escape artist skill and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's cool. Give a reason to get skin blades and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then the other change would be Bitter Enmity is back for 14 is now Bitter Enmity, which is if you're playing against the gang that you got the injury against, you gain the Berserker skill. If they already have the Berserker skill, treat it as out cold. The hard scars and impressive scars. Whoa. On a 12, you get a set of impressive scars as testament to your bravery. Increase the fighter's cool by 1. Whoa. This bonus only applies once. Treat all further results as alcohol. And then hard scars, which gives you the fearsome skill. And I think that was that already a thing? I'm not sure.
No, that's new.
Okay, and then and then 31 to 36, what's convalescence?
So convalescence is like halfway between out cold and in recovery. So convalescence is you miss out on doing post-battle actions, but you are good to go for the next battle. So if you're out cold, you wake up in time to do post-battle actions. If you're in convalescence, you don't do the post-battle actions. And if you're in recovery, you don't do the post-battle actions, and you don't do the next battle either.
Holy shit, so how do you get into recovery there?
Recovery is only if you get one of the, 40 or 50 injuries where you actually have, a characteristic change.
Oh, that puts you into recovery. Oh, yeah, right, yeah, fighter goes into recovery. So recovery's still there, but there's not just the one where you automatically go into recovery that you always seem to fucking roll.
Yeah.
So, yeah, interesting. So out cold 15 to 26 is out cold. You're fine. 31 to 36 is convalescence. So there's a big chunk there where you just you're fine basically for the next game, which is good. It's really only the hobbled ones and the ones that say that they go into. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Oh, old battle wound, that's back as well.
Yeah, there's a couple more there.
So old battle wound. At the end of each battle this fighter participates in, roll a d6. On a 1, the fighter goes into convalescence. So they don't miss a game like they used to. That's good. That's fine.
Yeah, so that's gonna take some bookkeeping. I don't think anyone's gonna remember to do that.
Yeah. I need this guy to go shopping, damn it. Okay.
And then partially deafened, the fighter suffers no penalty if they are partially deafened. However, suffering this injury again reduces their leadership by 1. So again, you got to remember they're already partially deafened.
Yeah.
And then
when
they get it again, they're fully deafened, I guess.
All the way deafened.
Well, you'd have impressive deafness and hard deafness.
Yeah, interesting. Now, in terms of leadership, I saw there was something. There's something that uses leadership now.
Yeah, so they've changed the
actually using
the overseer skill.
Yep.
To use leadership.
That has a leadership check. Yeah. There's also. Damn! I'm never gonna fucking remember. Maybe we'll come.
Well, another thing I noticed uses leadership now is that they've changed the way that sentries works. So instead, you used to go,
yeah, you take a leadership check.
You'd get a random sentry every time, but now you choose your sentry and then make a leadership check to see if it's you or your opponent who chooses.
Yeah,
so
that's cool. The one. Yeah, so leadership actually being used for something, which is cool because there was I think one thing previously where leadership was actually the score was the thing you rolled. All right. So, any other rules? Otherwise, should we talk about Can we?
Well, there's, I guess, the other thing is there's been some changes to psychers. So now there's like you can do maintain control as a free action. If you do it as a normal action, or whatever it is, a basic action, you get a +3 to your willpower test. But if you do it as a free action, you don't get the +3. So that's going to make a whole heap of psychic powers that were previously like too hard to actually make useful. So you can just like cast them, do your free maintain if you think you got good enough willpower, and then still have your 2 actions to do something useful.
Yeah, because so many of them, there's just no way. Like, it's super hard to employ. It's interesting.
Oh, another change to psychers actually is that now if you capture a non-sanctioned psyker, you get the option to kill them straight away without giving the dude a chance to rescue them.
Ah, perfect. Well, that's good.
Oh wow,
that's going to be bad for my gang of Delac. But yeah, it is cool. That's sort of like the main core rule things that I guess have changed. There's also changes to how the trading works.
We should talk about the studio armies.
Yeah.
Just after the rules, they've got the studio. Oh, I'm assuming they're the studio armies. But James Karch has his Goliaths. Look very nice. Very studio paint job. Stephen May, the Seekers of the Drowned One. So he's got like, this dude's got some like interesting, some conversions and stuff. Like there's a dude with a whip down in the bottom left-hand corner with dual like whip arms.
Yeah, that's cool.
Wearing some kind of psycho hood. Like, I don't know what the fuck that is. And then that dude up the top with that hammer. I don't know, is that part of the Redemptionist sprue or something? That giant hammer at the top left?
No, I don't think so.
That's fucking sick. And then if you flick over the next page, he's got that dude in the middle, that brethren with the longsword, that sort of broadsword or whatever. Cool. Looks fucking hot. And then Andy Hoare, Sun Gun Sisterhood, which is a fucking amazing name. And he's got some they're like in the classic scheme, but then also very nicely done. Yes, studio art paint jobs. That's pretty good. It's good to see some like extra gallery stuff in here. And then
one with the melter guns called Sister Barbecue.
Yeah. What I did want to talk about though was the exotic beast rules. Did we jump past those at some point?
Yeah, they're right at the start.
Are they?
Where they're describing how fighters work. Somewhere, let me find them.
Oh yeah, here we go. Exotic beast, page 86. So, so the exotic beast rule is like a massive page. So, this is good. It's like an entire page of rules. So exotic beasts follow all of the normal rules for a fighter. So remember all those, okay? With the following exceptions, and then here's a page of exceptions. So, a few of these have changed, and definitely like there's some interesting ones like Leedham. They've definitely they must have been listening to us talk about pets and animals dragging people to safety and shit like that.
Finally, yeah.
Stealing boxes, stealing loot. Okay, so whenever the fighter that owns the exotic beast is selected for a scenario, the exotic beast may also be deployed, so you don't always have to take them. This may take the number of fighters in a starting crew above the number specified by the scenario. Now, exotic beasts may not perform any action that interacts with objects on the battlefield with the following exception. An exotic beast with a strength characteristic of at least 4 may perform the carry loot casket, simple action, the force door basic action, and smash open loot casket basic actions. So I
can't get my grapple hawks to carry loot caskets around until I get
No, it needs
until
to
they
be,
get advancements.
Needs to be strength 4, bro. Yeah, you need to strengthen up that bird. Need more lift.
Mm-hmm.
The bird, maybe you need an extra pair of arms.
Yeah.
Wings for more lift, or some fans or something. So some croc can just like carry loot caskets, smash or try and force doors, which is pretty hilarious. Imagine some croc trying to force a door again on you. An exotic beast with an intelligence characteristic of at least 7+ may perform the operate door simple action, and an exotic beast with an intelligence characteristic of at least 5+ may perform the access terminal basic and bypass loot casket lock basic actions as well.
You can do some hacking.
So yeah, because you can have like one of those like hacking. I think isn't the cyber squid for Dilac like the hacktopus?
Oh yeah, hacktopus.
Yeah, just be like hacking boxes or just like doing R2D2 shit basically.
Yeah, that's true. And the
if you've ever seen those YouTube videos of squids,
yeah,
octopus is opening up like bottles and things, and crows as well.
See, they need an exotic beast that's just a servitor. And it's just a guy who just follows you and you just like, hey, open that door, and it opens the door, and then maybe it gets shot, but then you don't get shot, and then you
I think there's there's like a tactics card where you can get for Vansar where you can bring an extra dude, but he has to follow the rules for exotic beasts.
Ooh.
Someone spoke of hacking and summoned me.
Cecil's just crashed out recording. We're just recording.
I shall leave.
Yeah, so very interesting.
You want to say hacking?
Yeah, so very interesting. Like a lot more options there. Like people definitely sort of weren't sure whether they could do things before, and now they've set out a whole bunch.
Yeah. Well, it is interesting. It's gonna change the way that you do some of your advancements probably, because I think now I'm thinking I want to get my psychoteric worms to carry loot caskets underground.
Whoa, are they strength 4? Oh yeah,
They're only strength 3, so I just need that
strength
+1 strength.
Maybe you can get that via some psychic power.
Well, it means you can model like little. Say you can put a little cybernetic gripper claw on your sump croc, for example.
Yeah.
Like on a little harness to operate keypads or.
The problem is intelligence characteristic of at least 7+ to operate a door, and a sump croc starts at intelligence 10+. So they're not like they're not super great. Like I think they might even be 11+. They might be 11+. I know I rolled a leadership upgrade once, so Bindi was like leadership 10, I think, a 10+. Yeah, interesting. So I think that's a good start. That's definitely a good start for basic exotic beast Amancy. I definitely think that there could be some extras. There could be you know what they could be if someone was a custom rules person. They can make a skill tree for like exotic beast handling.
Yeah. Well, I think the other thing is like if you're an arbitrator who maybe you have a common thing is to go dumpster diving, you just might add an extra thing for that. Exotic beasts can go dumpster diving if they I don't know.
You definitely want a survey skull
smell characteristic.
You want a survey skull digging through shit, not you, basically. You want a survey skull.
Well, I also think about the fact that, like, we know that Escher are really famous for doing mix-ups of different animals, and the Goliaths are really famous for their gene-engineered, like, gene forged stuff. So maybe there should be genetic like mixes or experiments that you can buy with points. So say you might have a Gene Smith croc that's smarter or is more dexterous or something like that.
Oh, there you go. You
is built to operate in the desert.
You said it yourself. Animals, some crocs should get gene smithing. I get it. I think so too. I think like
a desert croc.
Escher should be able to drug their cats. I get it. I think they should be able to too. All right. Okay. Well, let's keep. That's just like the new shit they can do. Exotic beasts cannot assist fighters when rolling for recovery. So that's Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So crocodile can't help you get up? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I know we definitely...
What if it licks you? What if it licks you? That's a common trope. What if it's
that
a
was pretty
Cyberdog?
vague
Yeah.
previously, so I'm sure we used to play that, yeah.
Yeah, I think we did. Because like a Cyberdog would lick you. That's what I say.
Yeah.
A Cyberdog would lick you and then you get
Aragorn's
back
horse
up.
wakes him up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exotic beasts can only be activated as part of a group activation with their owner. So basically, that's basically as before. If you select, it specifically says now that if you select him as part of a group activation, him and then all of the things will go, and they don't go simultaneously. They all go one after the other, just so you don't like put all 3 cats into someone and then attack with them all. For example, exotic beasts must always end the activation with within 3 inches of their owner. Now this is different. If the exotic beast is more than 3 inches away at the end of its activation, it must pass a nerve test or become broken. So so previously you would auto break and just run back towards your handler. Now you get a nerve check. So what's a nerve check? I always forget what.
Just a cool check. That's
a cool check. I wonder what the cool in a Sunkrock is. Because if you could send the Sunkrock just on its own fucking destructive mission, like holy shit, that's super useful. So if it becomes broken, it runs back toward its owner when activated rather than for cover. And then it auto rallies if it ends up within 3 inches.
They put an extra note here that during campaign play they don't get XP. Yeah, which that was like a loophole before for like
just farm XP. Just farm your Sunkrock. If the owner is removed from the battlefield for any reason, exotic beast is also removed. So yeah, that's annoying, but also happens. Exotic beasts are not counted for bottle tests. Neither is part of the starting crew. I never did that. Oh, I guess that's probably just rules.
You know what you could do is you put a drop rig on your beast, and if it ends up like outside 3 inches of the owner, you activate the drop rig again and like get winched back.
Why can't you just put a leash on the croc? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like a snappy leash. You know, so if they go too far and you want them to like come back, you just like hit the button and
it's like a leash, but it's like a punk leash.
It's a leash made out of energy or something. Okay.
Monofilament wire or something.
I don't think any of the rest is any different, right? You can still take them as a captive, but you can't put them to work in any territories. And yeah, like capturing someone's fucking pet. Like, imagine that. Holy shit. That's a good way to start some shit with another gang. If you fucking capture one of their animals. So, yeah. Very interesting. I think that's definitely like some interesting changes. Like, remember, I wonder what the cool is on those Escher cats. You know, not the like lizard cat, the other one, the big cat, because they have like a 9-inch control zone. If you could send them on a mission and just and they had high enough, cool. You could project those cats, is what I'm saying. You could project those cats.
Cat projection.
Okay, cool. So let's just go back to. So that's basically the rules. The Dominion campaign. Is there anything in the Dominion campaign huge that changed that's worth? We're talking about.
There's been a couple of tweaks to territories, but nothing too mind blowing.
Yeah. Everyone's going to read through that. So that's basically like required reading for, it's about 10 pages maybe. And that's required reading for the crazy arbitrator tools that are coming up. Scenarios are pretty much the same. I did notice though the battlefield setup, some of these things had changed. Well, I guess like a major thing is that all the vehicle rules are in this entire thing as well now.
Yeah, so and they're all woven through where it makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that we already mentioned the change to the sentry rules, but the other thing, pitch black has changed now, so it's not automatically just 3-inch visibility. You roll a d6 and that determines like how black pitch black is.
Yeah, it's not like full fucking Silence of the Lambs, Buffalo Bill in his underwear hunting you with a fucking 44 in the darkness.
Yeah.
Like,
so it says
there's a chance that it's up to 24-inch visibility.
If and it says that, like, you know, if you agree with your opponent, you can play it. But there's heaps of, like, you know, there's the spells and the
that turns it on and
cards
off,
and things that can just turn on pitch black. So I assume you'd still have to roll for those things as well.
The Prometheum cult, can't they like turn the lights on and off?
Yep.
Just turn off the gas.
So yeah, I think you'd have to roll for them now. They don't automatically get the 3-inch one.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. So you can still fuck with people, and the night vision goggles and stuff like that, it adds inches onto that. So if you've got if it's 3-inch visibility, the goggles, I believe, add 9 inches onto it.
Yeah.
So if you've got 12-inch visibility, you can see 20, they can only see 12. Which is still like Buffalo Billing to an extent, but not like the 3-inch fucking sneaking right up in his underwear. Just like breathing on her neck and shit. With a pistol. It's not that fucking terrifying ass shit. So maybe people will want to play more fucking super darkness shit. Because it was always just like super fucking onerous. Like if you got stuck, like only moving 3 inches at a time and shit.
Yeah, I think it's probably good. It has that sort of
only being
level of unreliability built into it for when you're the person inflicting the darkness.
Yeah. The Beast Lair is pretty much exactly the same, I believe. Oh no, it also has fucking knockback now on its attack.
I think it had that before.
Oh, did it?
That. I was comparing that before.
I think it just destroyed everything, like, because it's strength 6, AP neg 2, D3 damage. Like, it just always, pretty much just always pulps anything it attacks.
The one thing I saw called out somewhere on Yak Tribe, I think it was, is that the scenarios don't have the horrors in the dark rules anymore. And for places where they did previously have horrors in the dark, they've replaced them with either the Beast Lair or some other thing. It's kind of a shame. I liked horrors in the dark. That was a good one. I don't know why they got rid of it.
Yeah, I don't think they got... Well, I mean, I'd say we'll probably see it back at some point, right?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Because this is like this has like all the vehicle rules and shit. Like this book now, like the amount of like rules in there, you can model like vehicles now. It's like it's getting close to like that Rogue Trader level amount of stuff. Like, okay, so yeah, missions pretty much the same. We'll jump through them. They may not be the same. I haven't actually read through them yet. Usually, we'll read through them.
I think there is.
Play them. Like we haven't started a new campaign since this came out. So.
Well, yeah. So one other new thing is that they now have a type of crew selection that's called hybrid, where you get a set number and then a random amount as well. So like D3 plus 3. So it's not totally random and it's not totally set. It's a combo, but it's not a big deal.
Yeah, maybe that just like, especially with those with the extra flesh wound rules. Like, I guess like you might be able to like having a smaller number of people and playing 2 games in an evening could be like possible.
Yeah,
maybe.
Potentially. I don't know. We'll have to start playing some games.
Yeah, because it seems like our games always just sort of draw out. But then again, we're always playing like 4 ways and shit like that.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we're gonna get to like the craziest fucking. There's in the arbitrator tools. I just remembered the crazy 4-way fucking is it Iron Man? Oh, we'll get to that. Oh no, we're here. Is there anything else before we talk about the arbitrator rules?
I don't think so.
Okay, so How far? How many pages in?
Which page is this now?
225 is where Arbitrator Tools starts.
Okay.
So there's some information about the Arbitrator, blah blah blah, and then you get to the most important thing in this book, which is the campaign variants. Ooh, so many different variants. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then an 11th thing, which is like a way of just like linking them all together. So that combined with the fact that you can rebuy old fighters from your old gangs, just like that's 10 different. Like you've got the Dominion campaign, and then you've got these 10 different variants on top of that. So that's enough fucking shit. Like, think about how much material that is. If you play just like 6 weeks of each one, what is that, like 600 weeks or something? No. Am I off? I think that's too many weeks. But like 60 weeks, like that's a shitload. That's more than a year. 60 weeks. Whoa. And then you've got like downtime weeks in between. Add another like 10 of them. That's 70 weeks. You've almost got like 2 years of material if you're able to gather people together on a regular basis. That's about 2 years worth of like playing through all of these different types of campaign.
And you could have the same dude from the start all the way to the end.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you might have some fucking like it's not going to be a leader. I'm assuming not with some of the rules in this fucking thing.
Yeah.
I guess there's that bottleneck one too, Sean. There's literally the bottleneck campaign where only one person is assured to get through to the next campaign.
Ooh,
one person from one gang. Okay, so you got to think about it from that angle. Like, I can just like drearily go through all these different variants, but the idea is like, imagine playing these like one after the other, and then trying to get a guy through. Like, it's gonna be crazy. Okay, so so the first one, some of them don't make sense. Some of them might. If you're like the kind of person who has the will, you could probably link them fucking narratively. I'm sure there's ways of doing it. Okay, so first one is Old Kingdoms. So basically, this one is where everybody starts with 2 random territories drawn out of those from the campaign. The remainder are discarded. There's no occupation phase, and there's 2 3-week takeover phases separated by 1 week of downtime. So basically, you just like each person has 2 territories, and then you just like scramble for them.
So normally when you're playing a campaign, you're sort of getting to this fresh area, and then there's a land grab where you're just all rushing out to get new territories. Yeah, in this one, the idea is that you're in a territory that's been in control for a very long time, and something's upset the balance, so everyone's fighting.
Yeah, so maybe that's what
they're all fighting over sort of held.
Yeah, I guess we need to come up with like the perfect order, because I don't think they're in the perfect order, right? Although that is like a reasonably like low. Like, it's all cool. We got 2 territories. We just like that's pretty easy. Start with like a bit of money. Okay, next one, Into the Unknown. So in this variant, gangs are exploring an area where everything is unknown. So I'm pretty sure this one, instead of revealing the territories at the start of the campaign, they're kept secret. And basically the territories are only revealed when they're given to you. And then they're only revealed when they're fought over. This doesn't like that. Like,
okay, that doesn't change it hugely.
Slightly different way of fucking of handing those out.
Now we actually sort of ran something like this. If you remember back in the old Magic Vault days, and we had this big fight in a town, and during the fight, we got a random event where there was a ceiling collapse.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I got an environment card that was a flood. It was I think it was like a sludge rain or something like that. So the idea is that the roof partially collapsed, and there was like a lake above, and it just drained into the town that everyone was fighting through. So as the water was rising in the town, people started to find these the weight of the slime kind of broke holes into a lost area below the town, and the different gangs escaped into it, and because of the flooding, they got stuck down in this new area, so they were away for several like half their campaign without being able to contact the surface. So it is a nice way to sort of mix up a stagnant campaign and sort of like throw people into a new place and sort of, they're discovering new territories to look through, and the established players or the ones who've been really winning can kind of change the leaderboard.
Yeah, and then I guess it depends how your narrative from the previous campaign ended. So like some of our campaigns have ended with like Dark Elder unleashed a soul destroying plague, and everyone has to run away from it, or just like a fucking demon portal, like all the chaoticians like opened a fucking devil portal, and like literally bloodletters came and like hacked the dudes apart and shit. So after that, then you can say like any survivors then go into the unknown campaign. If it just sort of like ends with just like, if it's just like a gritty urban fight that ends with fucking a lot of stalemates, then you go into like an Old Kingdoms and then just like stir everybody up against each other. Interesting. All right, cool. So next one is the escalation campaign. This has more rules. So we're starting to go divergent now. So these other two just basically change how territories are handed out. So you can play those. That's like you're already into March by now after playing those two. All right. Escalation campaign. Sometimes on Necromunda things get bad, and then they just keep on getting worse. In an escalation campaign, gangs continue to increase in size and power regardless of the outcome of the battles that they play. To defeat their opponents, players cannot simply win their battles, but must utterly crush their enemies or seek victory in other ways, as even a weakened opponent
or Steve
will soon return to fighting strength. So, in this one, you don't get any cash, basically. Everyone has a set income of 250 creds after every single game, whether they win or lose.
Whoa.
And the most you can get is, the most you can play is 2 games. Oh, sorry, you can play more than 2 games in a week if you want, but in a cycle. But the most you can get is 500 creds. You can still earn extra rep and shit through other games. And then in an escalation campaign, triumphs relating to acquiring of credits and wealth are not used. So we've definitely tried a campaign kind of like that.
Yeah.
Where we had, pardon me, like set incomes and stuff like that. None of these have got the very wise thing that you once put in a campaign, Sean, which was once you're over 350 creds, you have to fucking go and join the mercs or something. Like you have to go off world, just fuck off. But that escalation sounds interesting. Basically, yeah, you don't have to worry about cash. Everyone's on the same sort of income. So you're taking a lot of the randomness out of it. Like if say you play a campaign and someone gets a really shit territories, and they don't have one that gives them 2d6 times 10 creds. Maybe they don't have they don't even have one of those. They've just got maybe a d6 times 10 creds plus a 1d6 times 10 creds from their settlement, and the other person has 2 times 2d6 times 10 creds. And that person's Steve. Like, they're gonna fucking just like totally fucking destroy. Like, or if they've milked a mission for like over 850 creds from a single mission, they're just gonna fucking they're gonna have all the fucking like bullshit. Whereas this, it's set.
Once you get that like early, even after your first game, if you've got a good scenario or a good territory, then you just got a leg up for the rest of the campaign essentially. So
now, one of the benefits of this type of campaign that isn't readily apparent is that it cuts down on some of the bookkeeping and prep that you've got to do to play. So if you've got a group of friends who are sort of time poor when they're not playing, you know, they got kids or their work's weird, you know, their weird hours or whatever. This is because it uses the slow grow style rules. All they've got to do is just like, just add the credits and then spend and then turn up and with their gang and play.
Yeah.
So that I think that's good about it is it cuts down on that out of game time or like say you know you might have to play and then you'd be like I can't afford to like sit around and like work out my loot rolls and whatever you know weird things going on afterwards.
And also,
I've got
like,
to leave.
Oh, I missed a week, but I know I've got that 250 grand income. Woohoo! Or do you get
Mm-hmm.
that only from playing games or? Oh no, it's after each battle. Ooh, so only after each battle. But yeah, there's also we're coming up. There's some ways of balancing things. Okay, well let's go to the next one. So I think that escalation campaign. This is definitely something you could try. Definitely, if you've played a campaign and someone is gotten those shit territories and is a bit like, oh fuck, like it's so unbalanced. Definitely give that one a go. And then after playing that, then you know maybe they'll change their mind. All right, next one is the best one, the classic campaign. So this is based around
classic,
like the old 90s style games. Classic campaigns use some of the older game rules, making weapons less reliable, rapid fire even deadlier, and grenades more unpredictable. So those rules are coming up. So the classic campaign is basically a whole page of rules, but essentially definitely cuts back a lot. Like you don't start with any kind of armor. Flak and mesh armor are both rare 10 from the trading, and as you'll see soon, like it's fucking hard to get shit. No hangers on or brutes, no gang tactics, so very fucking cut back to 90s style. All battles take place in the Underhive, so no vehicle bullshit, no shenanigans. I think you could definitely just put vehicles in, that wouldn't really matter, but whatever. A gang can never contain more than 2 heavy weapons, heavy and or special weapons at any time. So you can't have fucking 5 guys with grenade launchers blue tack to their bases.
Steve.
That really like cuts back. Definitely stops like like special weapon spam and stuff like that. They can, which is something people have complained about. Like the really old 90s grognards. I'm also really weird old 90s grognard. Like I love the old edition as well. I've just been waiting for them to do something like this, so which just takes that aesthetic. You crank out your fucking classic models, boom. So yeah, only two heavy or specials. The seek rare equipment thing is changed. So each person that wants to perform a trade action rolls a d6, and then you basically consult a chart, and it'll tell you, and you can buy one thing from that for each person. So if you roll a 1 or a 2, you then roll again. It's a weapon. You roll again. 1 to 2 basic weapon, 3 pistol, 4 special weapon, 5 heavy weapon, 6 close combat weapon. So if you want a fucking power fist or some shit like that, ooh-wee, it's going to take a while to get the shit you want. Just like in the old, it's instead of having like rolling a specific thing and being like, here's a fucking bionic leg, and you're just like, well, all my guys have their legs. Oh, well, do you want it or not, cunt? Fuck off. Now at least you get to like choose a thing from a category, which I think's fucking amazing. 3 to 4 is war gear, so roll another d6, grenades, gang equipment, personal equipment, all the shit's here, and 5 or 6 is armor. So if you want, and then you have to roll 1 to 5 for normal armor, 6 for field armor. So if you want a refractive field or some shit like that, if it's not on your house list, you're shit out of luck. It's gonna be fucking hard as fuck to get.
Yep.
So yeah, if you really want to go for the old school aesthetic of the old school, just use the old classic 90s medals, and then make all the gangs use the outcast rules, and then boom, you've got like a pretty balanced, like, because that's what it used to be. There was no gang, Goliath went strength 4, toughness 4 and shit back in the 90s. It's just like basically, yeah, like if you want to play a house game, just play one of those, maybe with like a House Alliance or something.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. So it's hard as shit to get stuff. Trying to get a power fist, it's gonna take a little while. And then you need to be ready as well. Like you need to have the cash. Like What if you roll up that plasma cannon, and you're like, oh goddamn, 20 credits short. Now, each player begins the campaign with 3 Dominion campaign territories, and they are chosen by the player from all those available. There's no limit on how many players can choose the same type of territory, so you get to choose like any 3, which is pretty good. Choose little linked ones. Make like a fucking cool, like, if you choose all the ones that are like linked to your house, then you can make some like cool scenery. Like, here's my fucking slag pit, here's my whatever. Obviously always start with a slag pit. But then you can make all your house shit, and then everyone just brings their stuff and sets up a table. That's pretty cool. Alright. So during the pre-battle sequence, ignore the make a challenge and stake territory step. Instead, players organize battles as they see fit. At the end of a battle, if the winning player takes at least 3 times as many enemy fighters out, minimum of 3, then you steal a territory from the opposing gang. The opposing gang only has a single territory. No territories are taken over. So nice, easy, I'm stealing your shit rules. And then, there's no campaign, weeks, phases, or downtime in classic Necromunda. Just decide how long you want it to run. And it also uses the following option rules: unreliable weapons, hail of bullets, wild grenades and shells, and exploding weapons. And those are all just basically rules that make make your weapons more like the old game, where they just fucking jammed a lot more, it felt like. Okay.
Are we going to go through them?
Oh, you want to go through them? Yeah. Tell us those. Like, give us a summary.
Are we going to go like they're later in the book? So
jump forward to them, and I'll just.
And you know what's also good about this? You know how there's always like at least one dude in your circle who's like, "Oh, classic Necromunda is so much better than new Necromunda." Where you're like, well, guess what, buddy? We're gonna give it to you, and you're gonna like it.
Yeah. I've painted models for you. Now what are you going to say?
All right.
We're going to
go through those optional special rules.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's exploding weapons. So if the natural one's rolled when making an ammo test, in addition to the fighter's weapon being out of ammo, the fighter must immediately roll a d6. On a 2+, you're fine, but on a 1, the weapon explodes, and that means that the fighter suffers a hit from the destroyed weapon. If a weapon has multiple profiles for different ammo, then it hits based on what was so basically you shoot yourself.
The Escher Wild Runner takes a hit.
Yeah, I would actually be in favor of using these rules over the unstable rules for some weapons, because then we might see a few more unstable weapons get played.
Unless you're a dwarf, and then you just take the skill.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's exploding weapons, right?
Yeah.
And then unreliable weapons is basically you only roll the firepower dice if you are actually rolling automatic fire. Otherwise, if you roll a 6 to hit, then you roll an ammo check, which is like the old 90s style, which is when if you roll a 6 to hit, you would roll an ammo dice. Oh, would you roll an ammo dice or an ammo check? No, ammo check, yeah. 6 to hit, you get that fucking hit, like that's that lucky shot that you needed a 6 to hit, but you also have to take an ammo check. That always seemed pretty cool. So yeah, nice little rule, and I mean it's in the optional special rules section. You could play that in any campaign. And then what's the last one?
Well, that goes on the next page too. But hail of bullets is so when making a hit roll that has rapid fire, you can choose to fire a single shot or a sustained burst. Single shot, you don't need to roll the firepower dice, but it only fires once. If you do a sustained burst, then you roll a number of firepower dice equal to the rapid fire trait. Each bullet hole rolled on the dice is a separate shot, and a hit roll should be made for each. So you got to roll to hit for each of them. And then you distribute hits the same way with normal rapid fire weapons. So that would be interesting. Basically, you have to just roll to hit with the number of things you roll on the firepower dice.
I guess there's more opportunities to hit innocent bystanders.
Whoa,
And wild grenades and shells.
Yeah, so this is like a alternate way to use the scatter dice, I guess. So, when making ranged attack with a weapon with the Blast X trait, choose a target point as normal, but do not make a to-hit roll. Instead, just roll the scatter dice and a single d6. If a hit is rolled in the scatter dice, leave the blast marker where it is and work out the effects of the attack as normal. So that's basically a 5+. There's 2 hits on one of those dice. So it's like a 5+. You'll just hit where it is. If an arrow is rolled on the scatter dice, move the blast marker a number of inches in the direction indicated, equal to the d6 result plus the fighter's BS, i.e. a fighter with BS of 4 would add 4 inches to the scatter distance. Whoa, so the shitter you are, the more you scatter? That's an interesting way of doing. Holy fuck. Whoa! That's a new mechanic. That's a fucking crazy new way of doing things. Okay, so you could roll a 6 and there are 5+ to hit and it scatters 11 inches.
Yeah.
Okay. If a hit and a 1 on the d6 is rolled, something has gone wrong. Roll on the table to below. So like instead of just it used to just explode on you. If that happened, now there's a d6 table. So on a 1, a grenade goes off in the thrower's hand or a shell explodes in the breach. Place the blast marker over the fighter and work it out as normal. On a 2, the grenade goes wild. Projectile travels 2d6 in a random direction from the fighter and explodes. 3.
Grenade's gone wild.
On a 3, the grenade travels 2d6 in a random direction from the fighter and explodes. A shell fired from a weapon travels d6 times d6 in a random direction from the fighter and explodes. Oh my god, this is so good. On a 4, not only does the grenade go wild or the shell spin out of control as it leaves the weapon, but the projectile itself is faulty. Projectile travels 2d6 in a random direction from the fighter and lands. Mark the position of the projectile. From now on, at the start of the end phase, roll a d6. On a 4+, it explodes. On a 5, the grenade tumbles from the thrower's hand down a deep crack in the ground, or the shell spins upwards and strikes the dome roof. There is a muffled explosion. Muffled explosion. Boom. The ground shakes ominously, or chunks start to fall from the roof and tall ruins. Whoa, this is a lot of rules. From now on, at the start of each end phase, both players must roll a d6. If a player rolls a 1, and a randomly determined fighter from their crew has been hit by debris and takes a strength 3 AP nothing D1 hit. Fuck, that's like a massive paragraph. So basically, you shoot like a gargoyle falls on you or something. And then 6, the grenade or shell drops on the floor in front of the fighter and fizzes ominously for a while, but little else happens. It's a dud. Holy shit. Well, that definitely adds like a lot more fucking bullshit to the game. That's for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of cool. Nice options to, and even just to tweak stuff if you're not super keen on how stuff works at the moment.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay, next campaign is the Iron Man campaign.
Oh, yeah, okay, so this is like a whole fucking page of shit. We won't go through the whole thing. But basically you make a 3,000 point gang, and every time someone is taken out of action or is seriously injured, you roll a d6. On a 1 to 3, it's outcalled. 4 to 5, critical injury. On a 6, just memorable death. So death rate's a lot higher. It talks about territories, blah 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 blah. So the Dominion campaign territories are determined as normal. Then they're divided up randomly between the players so that all territories are claimed and all players have the same number of territories. And
so you can't recruit new people.
Yeah, you cannot recruit new people. Yeah, so the last bit is there are no campaign weeks, phases, or downtime in an Iron Man Necromunda campaign, and it continues either until there is only one gang left able to field fighters, or all but one of the players has retired their gang due to losses. So I guess you could retire your gang, and then your fighters could then fight on in another campaign after that. But that's like that's one of the fucking like sort of choke points for characters. Next one's a dome rush. So this basically you're traveling through different areas, and the arbitrator chooses a territory, and everyone has access to that territory for that week. If you manage to if you would claim a territory as a result of winning a battle, then you instead gain d6 times 50 creds. And at the start of the second campaign week, the arbitrator discards the territory, generates a new territory to take its place, representing a new area the gangs have moved on to, and then you just repeat it at the start of each campaign week. And then in a dome rush, lots of good loot is flowing out of the newly discovered area to reflect this and to represent the eagerness of guilders to capitalize on this new wealth. All gangs add 2 to the availability of level when seeking rare or illegal equipment. And victory is determined by reputation and credits. Triumphs relating to the gaining or holding of territories are not used. So it's basically like a fucking grim adventure. If you want to have everyone, if you've got like a crazy narrative story, of just
that's pretty cool.
Let's just follow.
It's like
like this. All of
Oregon
this
Trail.
Yeah, like this sump must be flowing from somewhere. Let's fucking track it to its source. And everyone's just slowly fucking killed off. That's kind of cool. Okay, next one is Last Gang Standing. I think this is like another bottleneck one, I believe. So there's only a single phase, lasting between 3 and 6 campaign weeks, as determined by the arbitrator. They generate a single random territory. All gangs gain the boons, so it's very similar to a dome rush. You cannot recruit new fighters other than those generated as territory boons. So everyone might get access to the same hangers-ons or whatever. You can still do black market and everything like that. However, every battle in this campaign is a multiplayer battle. Each time a battle is fought, the arbitrator chooses the scenario and all the gangs participate. Alliances between gangs are encouraged. The players should feel free to betray their alliances at the most opportune moments, representing the ruthlessness of their gangs in their drive for supremacy. So if you've got a bunch of people and you all just like want to get one over on each other, this is a great one. When a fighter goes out of action, no roll in the lasting injury table is made. Instead, it is assumed that the fighter has been killed in the savage war for supremacy, and they are removed from the player's gang. So if they go out of action, dead. If a gang bottles out, including bottling out voluntarily, the arbitrator removes D3 fighters at random from their gang, not including their leader. This represents that the gang is new and inexperienced, and that green fighters may, when faced with the brutal reality of gang warfare, give it up as a bad idea. And the last one is victory goes to the gang with the highest gang rating at the end of the phase. No other triumphs are used. So yeah, go out of action and die.
That's awesome. Brutal.
Love it.
Imagine doing that, but with like 3,000 point gangs. Like build a 3,000 point gang, and then just like it's a series of fucking 4-way, just fucking out of action, and you die. Whoa, that's a good way to like super speed run a campaign, I guess.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good event one too. Where just like huge amounts of people turn up with their gangs, and you're like, right, here's the table, kill.
Yeah, they're dead. All right. Okay, what are we up to? Hive Empires. So this one is to play out the kind of macro warfare represented by a Hive Empires campaign. The arbitrator will need to create a map depicting the locations of the different gang holdings and the battlefields they are fighting over. So basically you create a map with a whole bunch of it explains, like you can read through the shit. Basically just create a whole bunch of like areas on a map and then connect them via tunnels, and then basically you can only attack ones that you have like a tunnel connecting to, or if you make a deal with like another gang, like, hey, I want to attack this guy's dome using your tunnel by connecting through your tunnels. Can I do that? And they're like, yeah. And then then they might end up controlling a tunnel on the other side of you, and then you're like, oh no, am I going to get betrayed? So yeah, Hive Empire seems pretty cool. Each player has 3,000 credits to create their gang. When creating a gang, players can ignore the restrictions for hangers on and brutes, blah, 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 blah. At the start of the campaign, so yeah, each gang has a territory or racket for each zone they control. And when issuing challenges, players can only attack zones that are connected by a zone they control, unless they make a deal with another player, yeah. If the challenger successfully claims a territory or racket, they then take control of the zone and the territory or racket it contains. Victory is determined using all the normal triumphs. So
so we've played a few campaigns that work like this.
Yeah, that's kind of like what with that map-based one. Remember, with all the territories, you could only attack people bordering on you. That was pretty cool.
We didn't have 3,000 credit gangs, but yeah.
No.
Everything else was pretty much the same.
Vampires.
Yeah.
Alright. Next one is Nomads of the Underhive. So this one is another sort of like scrabbling around in the junk one, kind of. So each player only has 700 credits to create their starting gang, rather than the usual 1,000. If you're playing in the Ash Waste, then you add 300 instead of 400 for vehicles and other garbage. At the beginning of this type of campaign, the arbitrator should generate as many territories as there are gangs involved, and randomly assign one territory to each gang. Gangs cannot earn more than 100 credits in each campaign week. Scarcity of goods in this type of campaign means that gangs are limited to their equipment they can have. Gangs may not begin with any equipment that in the trading post has rare X or illegal X trait, with the value of X being greater than 10, even if included on their house list. So no rare or illegal 10 or more. Oh, sorry, greater than 10. So no 11 or more. Gangs may not purchase during any post-battle sequence any equipment that in the trading post has rare or illegal that is greater than 10. And gangs may purchase any other equipment from their house or the trading post as normal. And at the end of each campaign week, after gaining any boons from them, each gang must discard all but one of their territories. They may choose which territory to discard. So everyone starts with one. If you take one off someone, then you have to discard one of them. If a ganger no longer controls any territories, they remain in the campaign and may capture territories. So they have to try and recapture one. Victory is determined by the gang to hold by the last gang to hold a territory. Man, that's a fucking good way. Like, everyone starts with one. You can take one off someone, and then you have to destroy either the one you're on or the one you take off them.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then
so they get rarer and rarer.
And then you might come and take it back off me, and then you just kick me off, I guess, until there's only one territory.
Yeah, that's cool. I want to do that one.
Yeah. And all these are just like dot point options as well, that you could literally just go through this and copy and paste a whole bunch of different paragraphs, because these are all just options under each one of these. You could copy and paste.
You know, this is what's great about this one, is it's the mutant rules that just come out, and now you've got this like low level, everyone's poor and struggling for survival kind of game.
This would go well with that the idea that you've had for a while, Leedham, which is just everyone's using medieval weaponry.
Yeah, it'd be a good one.
Because I think there's some parts of some hives where it's very sort of backward.
Agricultural.
I've always liked that idea.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Lovely.
All right, let's talk about Helmor's Wars. Helmor's War. So the fluff for this is pretty interesting. So sometimes inter-house warfare becomes so widespread that it disrupts hive production levels, and Lord Helmor orders a gang purge. In a Helmor's War campaign, The gangs are divided into two sides, and war is declared. The divisions can be based on almost anything from outlaws versus lawmen to heretics versus servants of the Ministorum, but only one side can emerge victorious. So this is like a team campaign, like kind of like what we've kind of played before as well, where the two teams trying to like just collude against each other. So this one is actually I actually really like this. This might be number 2 after classic campaign. So at the start of the campaign, arbitrators should divide the players into those deputized by the guilders and supporting the purge, and those declared as renegades and fighting against the purge. And like it said, you could have Ministorum versus heretics, where one side tries to play all mutants and cultists and shit, and the other side plays like, mostly redemptionists, I guess, and stuff like that. Or you could divide it any way you want. So if there are uneven numbers of players and the odd gang joins the outlaws, only outlaw gangs start controlling any territory or rackets. Create a pool of territories or rackets equal to the number of outlaw gangs taking part in the campaign. For the purposes of campaign, all outlaw gangs benefit from these territories or rackets, just as if their gang was in sole control of them. So if there's 5 gangs, there's a pool of 5 territories, and you imagine that each one of them controls all 5. So they're all getting the boons on fucking shit and collecting from all 5. Deputized gangs begin the campaign with no territories or rackets, but may spend an additional 250 creds when creating their gangs. So as there are no unclaimed territories or rackets, gangs may challenge other gangs for territories or rackets from the beginning of the campaign. So you're basically looking at to fucking just like call out one of these trader dudes and fucking steal his shit, basically. So whenever a deputized gang would gain a territory or racket from an outlaw gang, this territory or racket is discarded from the campaign as it is considered to now be under control. So that's fucking amazing, just mechanic, just for any kind of siege, battle, like gang war, whatever. Like having like a hive war, like where you just slowly like trying to steal, just push in on some dudes. There are no restrictions on which gangs can fight each other. After all, it can be imagined that deputized gangs mistake each other for outlaws, while outlaws are struggling over their shrinking turf. In these kinds of battles, no territories or rackets exchange hands, but gangs may earn credits, experience, and reputation as normal. So, yeah, crazy. And then victory is dependent on remaining rackets or territories. If all of these have been captured by the deputized gangs, then their side is victorious. Otherwise, the purge has failed and the outlaw gangs stand victorious. Other triumphs may be used to determine secondary victory conditions as usual.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you either got to purge everything or you lose.
Yeah. So, yeah. And just having, like, one side having that, like, luxurious amount of income and then just being toppled, like, you could, like, there's tons of ways you could do that. Instead of having a purge, you could have the reverse of it. Imagine, like, a super fat, rich gilder guy and a whole bunch of, like, in a town, and, you know, a whole bunch of gangs with, like, gilder alliances being overthrown by, like, whatever, slave uprising or something like that, and they have to, like, attack the town and sack the different parts of it and shit like that. Yeah, and you could have, like, each of those things could be mapped out on, like, a physical map or something like that as well. You could, like, mix the what was it, the dome, the Hive Empires one. Well, Hive Empires?
Hive Empires with map one, yeah.
Yeah. So many fucking options. It's so crazy. So, yeah, as I said, all of these things, like, each of these paragraphs just has, like, a dot point. You could mix and match those options as well to come up with, like, as long as you've got...
If only there was some kind of way to link, like, as you did these different kinds of campaigns, if only there was some way to link them into some, like, greater cinematic sort of history verse of your Necromunda campaigns.
No. What you need is an app that randomizes it. A randomized campaign.
Mm.
Oh, it looks like everyone's a scabby or whatever. All right, so those are the campaign options. So there's like 10 of those plus the Dominion campaign itself. There's also the perpetual campaigns rules. So maybe after you've played a couple of, most people either have played or not. If you have played, then check out the perpetuals campaign thing. You might want to start looking at it towards the end of your next campaign. Basically, it allows you to just like cycle through a campaign and then just basically just like keep going straight into the next campaign. As Sean said, you can just buy fighters back, but this allows you to keep. So for all of these campaigns, there's the Dominion campaign triumphs, and you use the triumphs from the previous campaign. If you won one of those, it gives you a bonus on the next campaign. So you do get something that like carries through. So there's one like, for example, the creditor is whoever has the most just creds in the bank. In the next campaign, they would get an additional 100 credits added to their starting stash.
That's nice.
So there is like a couple of cool things there. Yeah. So some nice rules there, and I think that stuff's from White Dwarf, and it looks like it's been updated. But some good stuff. So, I mean, like I was saying, so much playability out of this one book. Like, you've got all the rules. There's rules for vehicles. You can run. On top of that, you've got like whether you play Ashwace or a normal campaign as well. And you can adding vehicles as well, just to like, even if you just have this book and no other books, I mean, you're gonna need like the house book or something like that. But if you just if you were like a super 90s grog, you could just buy this book, buy the Outcast book, and play like a fucking pretty good campaign.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a ton of stuff in there.
Well, the other thing
and
too
then just
is
the free PDFs as well. Just download all the free PDFs of fucking Warhammer Community.
Yeah.
There's a ton of fucking content. So, I mean, like, the buy-in, like, people are saying, oh, you gotta buy all these books. Well, you don't have to buy every single book. People can explain to you what their rules are and stuff. But, yeah, so that, we are talking about, like, a 340-page Mega-Tome. But, alright, I've harped on about enough. I just feel like there's a fucking fuckload of value in this book. It's like, I'm, like, super impressed by it.
Well, like, the other thing, too, is it's a sort of a role-playing key. So for example, Siege of Cthonia came out for Horus Heresy, and that's all about, there's a lot of stuff in there about Chthonian underground gangs fighting against each other and then being used as recruitment sources for the legions. So you could just get this and then use it for your Horus Heresy games, but about the gang fights on the ground in the tunnels, and do all sorts of like crazy stuff. So like, it's this whole system that you can like use for all sorts of ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
Like maybe you've got like your favorite Legion characters, and then you go back and do like this is your Legion hero came from this gang, and this is how he was discovered. This is how this like word bearer, herald or someone like that came to rise to power and have these different campaigns to do backstories of all sorts of like your favorite characters in Heresy or whatever else. So don't feel like it limits your scope.
Take people on a journey.
Mm.
All right. So what have we done on the campaigns? Okay, so the underdog thing is definitely, there's been like an overhaul here of this underdog section. There's now like a super and now, as well as cards, there's also a super complicated table thing.
Yeah. Did you skip over the gang tactics bit? There's one thing I would.
Oh, did we?
No, it's interesting.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. Hit us with the gang tactics talk.
Well, there's there's your standard ways that you've done gang tactics in the past, but there's this new way, well, new to me anyway, called limited method, where essentially, so the previous ones are, you use the tables in the books. Okay, that's a preset method. Custom method is your deck building, which is essentially what we've sort of done up until now, where you get 18 gang tactics and then you can use them as you wish throughout the campaign. And then there's limited method where everyone starts with 30 gang tactics, but when you use them, they're spent and you can't use them again. So that to me is a pretty interesting
for the rest of the campaign.
Yeah, for the rest of the campaign. So you've only got 30 tactics to use throughout the entire campaign.
Fuck, dude! Do you know what you could do? Just buy a fresh deck of gang tactics, and you just hand it around till everyone's got taken them all, and then when you use a card, you burn it with a flamethrower.
Put it in a shredder. Just build a little shredder into.
Shredder. Shredder's probably better. Yeah. Oh yeah. Shredder built into the floor. Yeah. Ah. Damn, you're not Disman. Red LEDs underneath it.
Yeah, so I thought that was cool. And that sort of does lead into the underdog stuff, which you were talking about as well. Because that does some extra underdog tactics too. Yeah,
so there was underdog tactics cards, or there is. There's been sort of an overhaul of them. I know we used those underdog cards. They weren't super. I never thought. Maybe I just got really shit ones or something. But I was never fuck yeah, this is gonna be so good. They were always just choose 3 guys. If all of them somehow survive against this gang that's 500 creds more than you, then you get D3 times 10 creds per guy, or some bullshit like that. So. This now has this crazy system. So basically, you've got you work out how many points they are over you in credits to the nearest 100, and then you can use these in the house patronage table. And what this is a whole bunch of different options. Some of them cost creds. Oh, sorry, they all cost creds. Sorry, some of them just have a set cred cost. Some of them vary, some of them are hire a dramatis personae, so you would be able to do that if you had enough bonus creds. You then, each one of these options also has a number of times that you can take it as well. So if there was an option that was take 8 bounty hunter for 100 creds, then obviously everyone would just be take 7 bounty hunters, all with grenade launchers. Blue tack to their bases. So there's... I'll read through the options. Some of them are fucking just insane as shit. So you can take up to 5. Underdog may randomly generate an additional gang tactics card. That costs 100 creds for a gang tactic card, and you can have up to 5 of those. Cool. Next one is the underdog may choose a gang tactic. That's 2 of those you can have for 200 creds each. There's 4 slots of up to 4. The underdog may randomly generate an underdog tactic card. And these underdog tactics cards are dynamite. Number 2, and then there's 2 of the underdog may choose an underdog gang tactic. Choose an underdog gang tactic. Remember that one. 400 creds. So if anyone ever outnumbers you by 400 creds, just say, "I'll take the underdog mate. Choose an underdog gang tactic, please." And I'll read out the things in a second. So next one is the underdog may temporarily hire a brute or hanger on for points. It's unlimited. You can take as many of those as you want. Temporarily hire a gang from their house list. A ganger from their house list. You can take up to 3 of those. Underdog may temporarily hire a juve from their gang list. Whatever. You can take as many of those as you want. So you can just basically temporarily hire a shitload of juves, an extra 10 juves or something. It's just funny. Underdog may hire a dramatis personae. Underdog may hire a bounty hunter. That costs however many points. Underdog may hire a house agent for only 80 creds. You can hire a house agent. You can only take 1 of them there. But yeah, so you can only take 1 bounty hunter as well. And you can only take 1 dramatis personae. however, you can take up to 5 Hive Scum. And up to 3 each model in the underdogs. Sorry, you can take this up to 3 times, I guess. Each model in the underdogs gang earns an additional 1 XP for taking part in the battle. So that's 400 creds. So that's not a bad one either, just choosing that and saying I get an extra XP for every dude. Just for taking part. For 400 creds. Okay,
yeah,
so
that's nice.
However, you're going to want to take the underdog may choose, because that was a test. You guys failed. The underdog. You always want to choose the underdog may choose a thing, because there's one here, which is called. So the underdog tactics cards. There's like a table for them. There's like 2 pages worth. However, there's one that's just like so crazy. Where is it?
What is it?
There's one. Oh, here we go. Okay. It's called Secret Stash. Play this gang tactic during the receive reward step of the post-battle sequence. If at least one of your fighters survived the battle without going out of action, add 3d6 times 10 creds to your gang stash. Boom! So for 400, you just spent your 400 creds on that, and just keep one guy alive, and just negotiate.
Have a guy just run around.
Yeah.
Escaping death.
Just hiding in a corner or behind some drums or something. Yeah. Boom. Yeah, so there's a bunch of other things like that. There's one where you can just get a free medical escort without having to pay. Select one of your guys. If they take a champion or leader out of action, you gain 6 rep. Some of these ones are actually pretty good. Listen to this one. So, select one of your fighters. For the duration of the battle, they may be equipped with 1 item of war gear from the trading post, up to a value of 3d6 times 10 creds, and with a rarity of 10 or less. If you win the battle, the fighter may keep the war gear. But remember, cool. This is like an underdog thing. So, yeah, like, very interesting. And there's like 2 pages of those things. But, yeah. Those 2, especially the one where you just have to have a guy not go out of action and get 3d6 times 10 creds. Pretty good. So, yeah. That's the underdog thing's just been like fucking fixed up.
Yeah, it's more codified now. So,
yeah. There's
like clear points at which it triggers, and then this is how it works.
Yeah. Now they've got core gang tactics. Are any of those changed from cards and stuff? Is there a new? Have you seen anything about cards?
I think there've been some minor tweaks, but they're pretty much the same as the cards you got in the original box set.
Yeah. And has there been any talk on sort of what's happening? Are they replacing old cards? Are all old cards still all valid? Is there like a list of cards in play? 2023 card list or something?
No, I haven't heard anything. I think everything's still fair game. I think the only thing that might have changed with some of these is that there might be some where they've tidied up the wording a bit or clarified something.
Yeah.
But yeah, because they sell these as a deck now, so I've got a deck of them because I never had the first box set.
Oh, Leedham, I didn't tell you. I told Sean the other night. You know the dwarf. You know how there's that card where you get to return fire or do a full attack before you're taken out of action, and then the dwarf has that as like a skill. What happens if you have that skill and also play that card? You get to just fucking double rock them with like a heavy weapon or a power fist?
Sure, why not?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just go sort of crazy. You know, some doves fly into the air like a Hong Kong bit of martial arts movie, and then you just like murder everyone.
Squat miners incoming. All about those squats. I definitely want to like try some squats out. I don't know, like, are they? They don't have any like special ash waste like stuff, do they? They don't have riding beasts or anything. You just have to use generic vehicles.
No, just yeah.
Do they have crew?
No, they're great. That's why I. Sorry.
Is there squat crew there?
Yeah, there is specific squat crew.
Oh fuck. Okay. Well, who cares then? Yeah, perfect. Awesome. Time for some squats. Imagine like a squat uprising campaign.
Yeah.
Squat o'clock.
Squats.
War of the caravans.
Squats are trying to take shit over. Yeah, they're trying to take all our scrap.
I might finally build the Space Skaven gang up in just to take them on.
Yeah, that'd be good. Would you take the Would you take that that new mutant thing? There might be some Skaven. There might be some mutation that makes like good Skaven. Like like night vision, right? Night vision.
I've been thinking of doing what are those guys that were in like the Harad? Yeah, they were just like piles of rags with long rifles. Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Is the
chronomancers, right?
Jezzail rules, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh, Harad Fusel, yeah.
Yeah.
You could have a whole bunch using those rules. You could have a whole bunch of psychers.
Yeah.
With the time shenanigans.
I could do that too.
Oh fuck, Sean! I saw. Okay, I know you love time movies. I saw like when I was sick, I was just like watching random shit on fucking Netflix, I think it was, and you know the short dude from Workaholics, whatever his name is, Adam Devine. He's in a movie called How We First Met or something like that, and and it's a time travel movie where he's like trying to get with this chick, and then he fucks it up, and then he goes in this like magical what's it called, like magical selfie box thing, like, you know, like some fucking 1800 selfie box bullshit, and then he time travels, but like it's the worst done time travel. It's so fucking, it would annoy the shit out of you. I was just watching it thinking like Sean would hate this, because like he time travels, but like he just fucking travels like just he time travels to like points in time, and then just if you go by how like what he's doing, he's just like teleporting to a time, making a tiny adjustment, and then having to wait like 6 years and shit like that. So this motherfucker's lived like he's like 70 by the time he's done all this fucking like shit. Like it's just total fucking nonsense time travel.
That actually sounds awesome.
I was watching it just thinking like, oh man, Sean would fucking hate the how this is being handled right now. All right, okay, so well, let's jump past all this shit. What about skills? Any major overhauling the skills?
There's been a few changes. I guess the main ones to call out is that the brawn skill set's changed a fair bit, because that was generally considered the weakest ones before. They've all, well, not all of them, but most of them have been changed a little bit. So it's like not like super. It's still probably not super powerful, but it's not like a super dud anymore.
Yeah, so, and most things, like a lot of things, have like brawn and ferocity or something like that, and you're just always going to go ferocity.
Yeah.
Brawn was just a poor man's ferocity, basically.
Yeah.
So what's so good about it now? Like,
well, one that's pretty good now, I reckon, is Iron Jaw. Before it used to, so you can't, your toughness is too higher than normal. It used to just count against unarmed attacks, but now it's just any weapon with an AP characteristic of dash. So
whoa,
that's pretty good.
Holy shit, yeah, that's insane.
So yeah, I think that might be the best skill in that set now.
Too higher than normal. Oh my god. Imagine you starting at toughness 4 or 5 for a Natborn.
And then yeah, there's been the ones we've already talked about with Overseer's changed, and the Medicaid's changed from Savant. I think those are the only other ones.
Yeah. Alright, cool. Well, we'll skip past these, and remember, like, so
another good one from Brawn is they've changed Hurl now, so you can do a Hurl as part of your free thing after you do a charge. Like before, you could only do it as part of instead of a fight. So it was only you could do it.
It was a double action, yeah.
In the second round, essentially, yeah.
Yeah, it was a double. You
So
couldn't
now-
do it. You couldn't even exchange it instead of a fight action, so you couldn't do a charge and do it. It was fucking Well,
Yeah, so now you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
like run into someone, grab them, and throw them off a plank.
into a
that's kinda
bottomless,
cool.
into the bottomless core of the Death Star or something.
Yeah.
Lift them above your head and just toss them down.
Why not?
All right, cool. So, 262 trading post. So, and remember, this is by no means like a comprehensive fucking change log of the book. Like, this is a massive book. We didn't get it like weeks early, like Goonhammer and all these other guys. We're just like you, man, just podcasting in a garage.
Yeah.
So this has changed again from the free PDF that they released, and also from the. This is an update from the what's it called, the Outlaws book, Outcast book.
Yeah. Oh, Outlands. I don't know which one had the.
Book of the Outcasts. Is that what it's called? Book of.
There is one called Book of the Outcast. Is that
Yeah,
they had? Yeah, that was where they had the new.
That's where the latest trading post was.
Yeah.
So this then replaces that. However, this one is a lot better because this one has like the weapon, the profile, and all that shit, and then it has the availability and the credit cost, like all in like a nice
All in one
spreadsheet
convenient place.
style thing. Yeah. So
Lovely.
Because I can immediately just look down here and go, Cruit long rifle. Oh, yeah, looks pretty good. Rare 10, 30 credits. Boom.
More flicking back and forth.
Yeah, there's no like two separate things. So that's like a massive like increase. And remember when we were trying to do like that shopping episodes and we had to have like one person
Yeah.
on one.
One of the things they've clarified is if you've got, say, Xenos weaponry or enchanted items and things like that, there's now a prefix which esoteric, and what it says: esoteric weapon does not conform to standard imperial patterns or fittings. As such, they may never be given any weapon accessories upgraded or modified in any way. I would imagine that there's some way to do it. If you're, say, for example, if you make a gang of like I don't know, Drukari raiders or something, you might be able to like work out some agreement where you pay extra or something.
If you're an arbitrator, anything's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Anything's
or you could
possible.
just,
But yeah, it's
write your
nice
own
that it's
fan
just
list. Just make sure when you write your own fan list, you don't use Games Workshop art. Otherwise, they'll ask you to take it down. I know that for certain. So yeah, if you're gonna make like a thing, just don't use any Games Workshop art, and they don't care what you do. You can say all the words. Just make it obvious that it's not Games Workshop that created the document. And they're happy for fan fucking rules and stuff. So, but yeah, so massive like amount of sort of like weapons list. It's like page upon page of weapons, interspersed with some like pictures of some cool ones, like a fucking the harpoon gun and shit like that.
So
like Leedham said, esoteric seems to be one of the big changes across the items. Everything's all mixed in.
I mean, that's how it worked before, but now it's in a trait rather than just a note.
Yeah,
I think it's nice to clarify. I think.
Yeah. The so yeah, they have. So it's obviously got all the stuff from the like the black market, like trading post and black market are one and the same now. There's just like parts of the trading post are illegal. So it's got all the stuff from the Book of Judgment that had like all the cool black market stuff. It also has some of the stuff from Book of Peril, but not everything. So so it's got like all the cool equipment, like war gear, like the what was it? So it's got like all the crazy stuff you find in the collapsed domes and things. But it doesn't have all the special ammo from that book. That was like the anti-plant ammo
Oh, okay. Yeah, rad shots as well. I
it doesn't
noticed
have the
on
rad.
there. But
rad.
I don't think anything from that other book isn't in here though, right? Is there anything?
Yeah, there
There
we
is?
just get to the section. So Mung Vase is in it. That was
Oh, was it? Oh.
and then the Archaeotech device, that was from Book of Peril.
Interesting.
Blind Snake Pouch.
No rad
Dome Runner
rounds.
map.
Where are my
Used to
rad
be called the
rounds?
Ratskin map.
Time for rad. Time for rad protocols.
So yeah, there's a few things. So all that. So it seems like they didn't bring all the ammo across, but they did bring all the war gear.
Oh yeah, like focusing crystal and shit, right?
Oh yeah, well they do have focusing crystals actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe there's some of them. And then there was also
Hey, at least warp round's still in there.
Okay, well yeah, so they don't. So they just don't have some of that specialist stuff.
Stub pistol still there?
And they don't have gunk bombs anymore, I think. Gunk rounds.
Oh wait, there's no stub. Oh wait, hold on. Wait, plasma. Stub. Yeah, there's warp rounds for the stub gun. Yeah, okay. Well, at least there's that, and also static rounds for the stub gun. That's one of my protocols. Is like against Steve, I fucking just started collecting rad rounds and warp rounds, and I was just like, every dude just like gets a revolver, and they walk up, and a guy gets like some tongs and puts like a radioactive round in, and then a fucking rad round in, and then they just like flick their pistol shot, and then they just try and shoot fucking everyone, just blast with irradiated rounds into someone.
Well, yeah, the warp rounds and the static rounds were from the Book of Judgment, so yeah, they've come across, but the special ammo from Book of Peril hasn't come.
Yeah.
And the stuff from Book of Ruin,
we know where those rules are.
None of that's come, so maybe that's just for because that was where
is burning swords still?
And stuff.
Is burning sword?
Burning swords.
It's still in?
No, it's not. None of that's come across.
Yeah, suck shit.
Screw you.
Suck shit, Steve. And,
and that was all. Was a bunch of,
tell me there.
What
was that fucking thing that Harley used in?
Yeah, that's still here. The Xenarch Death Arc.
Xenarch Death Arc.
I'm looking at it now.
Is it still horseshit?
Yeah, it's still. So I don't think they've changed any of the rules for any of this stuff, and they've even brought across some of the typos. So
no. Wait, where? I can't even find it. What is it? Is it a close combat?
It's a close combat weapon.
Oh fuck! I didn't go far enough.
And that also shoots.
Yeah, it's a versatile.
Oh, here we go. Oh, it's 5-inch. Rapid fire 2. Oh, god damn it. No. And it's got shock too, so if you roll a 6 to hit, it's just like...
All these shots are...
2 rapid fire 2 worth of fucking hits.
Auto-wounding.
That auto-wound, yeah. It's plentiful and ammo is 2+. Ugh.
Yeah, because it just sucks energy out of the air.
It's +1 to hit as well.
Oh
wait, it's +1 to hit if you're engaged.
If engaged, yeah.
God. And it's only like illegal 9 as well, so it's not even hard to get.
Oh well, we haven't mentioned that. Is that they've changed the way that you do seek illegal stuff now. So now, if you are law-abiding, you can buy any. So you do your 2d6 roll, and you can buy rare up to that value, but you have to add. You can only buy illegal stuff with. You do +4 to it. So essentially, if you roll a 9 on your 2d6, you can buy rare 9 or illegal 13. Whereas outlaw gangs can just do the 2d6, and then it's for both rare and illegal. They can get that number. So yeah, that's a pretty good benefit to being an outlaw now. It's like, because before you had like worse access to rare stuff, but they've like changed that now, so outlaws get the same access to both. So yeah, harder for law-abiding people to get the Xenarch Death Arc.
Yeah. slightly. But I mean, you can just be an outlaw redemptionist and take it, can't you?
True.
Like there's no, because unless they are not allowed to take esoteric weapons, that would be cool.
That would make sense, but no.
Yeah, that thing's that's like, yeah, if you want something that will destroy shit for real, like, just take that fucking thing. Alright, so any other just like big fucking crazy things that happened in the weapons lists? Like, I noticed, I was just looking up some of my favorite weapons, such as great swords and shit like that. Greatsword is now rare 10, 40 creds. Yeah,
I
melee.
think it was that before, wasn't it?
Melee, sever, unwieldy, versatile, 1 inch reach, and +1 to hit at 1.
Yeah, I think that most of this is pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you reckon that's the same? Oh.
I think that's the same.
Oh, okay. Well, shit. It's only rare 10. Not hard to get. Just send everyone.
Fetch
you a great.
Any of the weapons on the list like bring you back? You know, make your head swoon with memories of bright times.
I'm just trying to think of. Yeah, I was gonna make like another.
Memories.
I was gonna make another macro status. Like I bought a new like a stimmer body to make a, and then you know that fucking chicken head guy from the Horus Heresy Black Box Imperial Fist guy, this giant fucking head thing.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Remember
the
that
big
guy?
Crest.
Yeah, the big like head crest thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I turned him into a dual graviton Maratat. But I've got that sword that model has. It's like that hollow, like cut, like the blade's got fucking holes cut out of it and shit.
Yep.
I'm gonna have like macro status wielding that, like
of course.
like a stimmer like with the. I guess you could just wield it in one hand.
The thing that having it all in one list like this is really good is just speaking of like reminding of things is like, oh, you go, oh yeah, I can buy all this cool ammo for this weapon that was in like 3 different books before, but now it's all here and I can easily see stuff. So that's really good.
Yeah, definitely. Like some of the kind of the side stuff that, you know, because we had the book of peril had some like neat stuff in it, and so, you know, all the books had like little bits that you'd be like, how can I live without this, and how can I live without this in my life?
Yeah, yeah, and we'll go through all these weapons as well. Like we've we've done basic. What do we do? Pistols and basic weapons. Already.
We've done all the stuff that was in the black market before.
Yeah,
so we can skip over that.
Yeah, exactly. So and is there even that much to errata if we were to errata?
No.
What we talked about? Not that much. So that's cool. We can keep going with that series and it'll still have some value. So
yeah. I don't think they've changed any of the weapons. Like they did change some of the weapons when they did that Book of the Outcast list.
Yeah.
But I don't think anything's changed since then. It's just they've just put it all in one list.
It's like everything like all mixed in. It's so crazy. Just being able to see everything like this. And it's all like, was it like 10 pages or some shit? Very good, very good. Need to study. Need to do some more list ammo.
And all the chems are in here too. All your cool chems.
Chems and everything else.
Yeah. Further on in the list.
They should bring out like a book for, I don't know, on the internet or something for $20, which is everything from all the books.
Well,
imagine if you could just buy that for $20 as a PDF. It's like every single weapon, fluff for them all. Oh yeah, like remember like the old Wargear book from Second Ed 40k. Imagine a Necromunda Wargear book, and it just has like fluff for each weapon, and a picture of them and stuff. ooh wee, and then just like this, and then and like so you can just read about it and be like, whoa, power hammer, fucking for crushing people's skulls, got it, and then for all the actual rules,
They could do an audiobook too.
Have it in a table form. Oh yeah,
and then get that guy that did the voiceover, the books in June, where he's like, the bolt gun has an effective range of 24 inches.
Yeah. Get Jonathan Keeble to
Fires
do it.
a high-speed pulse of explosive darts.
The plasma cannon sounds like this. Boom! The multi-melter sounds like this. And then, just go through all the sounds as well. That'd be cool. All right,
that'd be really great. It'd be like the ASMR, send you to sleep.
Yeah. And then it's just got all the armor, all the extra fucking equipment and all of that shit, which just goes for pages and pages and pages. And then all of the rules for all of that stuff. And then that basically takes you to the end of the book, right? Is that last usable?
No, there's the traits. Oh, did you say that? Yeah.
Yeah, there's the weapon traits. And then there's a whole bunch of nice galleries of each of the gangs. Oh, that's nice.
I think you find just wandering through all that stuff will make you giddy with possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Those Ash Waste Nomads look so cool, those models. It'd be cool to have an Ash Waste Nomad war.
Yeah, I've been resisting getting them for a while, but
what we could do is just get four of us to get Ash Waste Nomads, and then just challenge another 4 people to a whatever the fuck it was called. Campaign, was it? The hype? No. Shit.
Which one? The Empire's one?
No. The one where you take the territories until there's only one territory left or whatever.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Oh no, the Hive War one, the Hive Purge. Is it Hive Purge? Yeah, Hive Purge, the one where
oh right, yeah.
They start with 4 territories and you have to take it off them. You get an extra 250 creds to start.
Oh yeah,
that'd be cool. Just have
uniting the Dust clans together to sweep out the infidels.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Maybe I could do Gene Stealer Cult. I've already got all the Gene Stealer Cult models.
You could do a Dust Stealer Cult.
Yeah, because those Dusk Raiders, they must be taken over by Gene Stealers every now and then. They just all go to sleep next to a fire, like Tusken Raiders or whatever. They're just fucking sitting out in the sand, you could just wake up with a pure strain fucking hunched over you, depositing eggs down your throat.
Yeah.
Pure strain in the membrane.
Pure
strain in the brain.
Pure strain could just do that to your whole family, and then just run off into the dunes. Anyway, so yeah, man, amazing book. What final thoughts?
I think all those campaigns look really cool, really fun to play. So pretty keen to get into them. For me. Yeah,
I give it a 5 stars, really. I think it's because I used to be the guy with the big pile of books going to games. Because sometimes there'd be new people there and you'd be like, oh, want to know about this gang or want to know about this kind of thing, or maybe you want to play. Look at these pictures, haha, and you could bring out the books. But if you got this, you got all of it, and it is sort of crunched together in a nice way. So
yeah. If you're getting into the hobby, if you have been sitting on the sidelines going, I'm finally going to wait until the 3rd edition iteration of the rules. Well, this is it. It's finally here. The 3rd version. The first version was the thing where there was all the books and the box set thing. Remember? And then you had to buy the 4 fucking house and then the little flappy books. Remember that phase?
Yep.
That was the first edition.
Oh yeah.
And the second edition is when they brought out
Dark
the game
days.
list and the rulebook, and now this is the 3rd edition. Like,
Mm.
if you
Well, I think this is
sitting on the
I
sidelines.
think this is encouraging from my it. Even though they're sort of new additions, it's an evolution, and all the previous stuff is still like valid to certain degrees. It's not like here's a new edition of 40k and all your stuff's invalid.
100%.
So I really like that.
They didn't like fucking add movement value on or some shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like they didn't just invalidate everything. There's rules for so if you're looking at getting into it though, this is the book for you. Like the first 50 pages are just like fluff shit, and it hypes up all of the gangs and all the factions, like even the squats and the Ash Nomad guys and all the other boys are in there. And it hypes them all up, like the enforcers and all that sort of shit. It talks about all the different like settings that like you can foresee. If you're just looking to get in and you buy this, there's also a ton of fucking PDFs up, including rules for sump sea business with rules for boats. They can easily accommodate all your fucking fan boat needs. Fan boat sump boat needs. Sorry, just adjusting my headset. All your fan boat needs, and there's a ton of other just like free stuff out there. Like you can definitely you'll just getting into it. There's a whole bunch of free shit, and then if you want to delve into the different like insane gangs and the houses, then you can get those books as well. So I mean, like, you'll definitely get like a ton to play out. At least like as long as like one person in your group has it. Ideally, like everyone have this book there, because just reading through it, like it's one of those books. There's so much shit. Just reading through it just gives you so many ideas. You can just read through it again and again.
Yeah. Sure.
That's a good point. That like if you're like young gamers or whatever, if you're like on a tight budget, or you're trying to sort of talk your friends into playing with you, you can sort of hit the bits box, and then make some outlandish shit, and then roll with it and sort of bring your friends in on it. Like this is a really good sort of starting point, or just to go back, because I'm like already thinking about new iterations of stuff that I want to try out. Like I do really like the squats in this, and those dust raiders and all sorts of stuff.
Some of the new rules have given like different twists on things you might have played before. Like they've changed the like how you get the hangers-ons and brutes, so that's like standard across all gangs now. Because before, things like Venators had like they needed to have double the rep before they could do anything for a brute or something. So now it's all like standard. It's pretty good.
Yeah. And then I mean, on top of that, this book, like those house books, there's so much shit in those house books. Like I've run so many different types of Goliath gangs, for example. There's like 3 different trees of different like fucking gene smithing and crazy shit. And that's like all the books. They all have tons of different options. So yeah, there's tons of stuff to get into. I don't know. I think it's good. I think like this fucking book has just like a ton of we've talked about the replayability enough. Sounds like we're fucking getting getting paid by those fools.
Well, we need to start another campaign, don't we?
Yeah, we need to. Yeah, what are we going to do? Though, is it Ashways? Are we doing Ashways?
Well, yeah, I'm happy to do it. If people want to do vehicles,
I definitely want to. Well, I think vehicles should be always available, except when the campaign specifically is about something different.
Yeah. Well, that's essentially what these rules are saying now, that vehicles are always an option.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Vehicles always an option. Unless it's always like a ZM, I guess. But even then, maybe you can ride a fucking one of those stupid Orlock mega bikes in.
Well, they have clarified that in that you can only use vehicles and mounted things in ash waste scenarios. You can't use them
I can't use
unless
them
you're
in
arbitrator.
Sure. For sure.
Interesting. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I definitely. I was reading the rules for you know how you move the terrain in every end phase. Everything moves like 8 inches towards one edge.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're just like moved off the table, they're just fucked. Or like you know, like if you're seriously injured and you've fallen off someone's rig, you just swept away. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it does sound cool. We should do it.
I also like the idea because like Leedham and I both have matching Mars orange mats. Is making a 12-foot long table and just having like a Fury Road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As well. So I mean, there's plenty of stuff we can look at. Obviously, we need to play some scenarios, play some demolition derbies, that sort of thing. I do have like I've got some vehicles.
Yeah.
All right.
I think Steve's got some family over at the moment, so we might need to sort of. Yeah, I wonder how.
He's probably got a whole bunch of fucking unhinged, like crazed models made out of like children's toys.
Yeah, turkey leg houses or something.
And blood
Nice.
and whatever matter. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for taking this first look at this book. Obviously, like, we'll report back with more stuff, sort of as we discover it. But yeah, like Sean said, there's a bunch of people who've covered all the changes and things like that. Like Goonhammer. Who are the other ones, Sean?
Goonhammer's got a pretty good one. There was a big thread on the Yak Tribe forums that was like pretty painstaking in like every single change with like typo changes and everything. So
yeah, there you go. Yeah, so if you listen to us just like say shit for 2 hours and you're just like, what the hell? Yeah, go and you can see like a text version of it, and then you can like copy and paste it to your friends and go like, haha, suck shit, this is how this works now. That's always good as well. Alright. Cool. Well, thanks guys. I think this is a good run through. I think I already just said this exact same things already, so I'm just gonna quickly say see you down the